Hey there, it's your boy Blue here at Blueberry's Games, and today's video will be my upgrade guide for the Bloomburrow Family Matters Commander precon. Before I get to today's video, I want to first take a moment to ask for your help in supporting my channel. The easiest and cheapest ways to show your support are by liking my videos, subscribing to the channel if you haven't yet, sharing any of my content on your socials, and or by watching some of my many other videos that I've created over the years. Additionally, you can support the channel by purchasing Super Thanks, channel memberships, decks that you may have seen on the channel directly from me on the Blueberry's Games Facebook page, and or visiting our sponsor, Arcane Fortress, by using the link that just popped up at the top of your screen and purchasing any of their amazing gaming supplies from them. By using that link specifically, you should receive a 5% discount store-wide. And finally, the last thing you can possibly do to help the channel out is through donations of extra cards that you may have just lying around. Even your bulkiest of bulk will help immensely, so if you'd like to donate to the channel, please message me on the Blueberry's Games Facebook page or email me at blueberriesgames@gmail.com and we can discuss the logistics of how. Anything you can do to help support my small channel is greatly appreciated, and I thank you for it. Now with that out of the way, let's begin. For my guides, I start by showing you the cards that I would recommend removing first. Then I show you the cards that I would add back in that I believe will help make this deck either more fun to play a little better, or hopefully both. If you watched the unboxing video, then you already know what types of changes that I want to make to the deck for this guide. If for some reason you didn't see the unboxing though, here's what I said I wanted to do. First, I want to try to make this deck a little less reliant on the commander. Second, I want to provide another way to win if combat isn't getting the job done. And third, I want to upgrade some of the lands and ramp cards slightly. Now, when I say less reliant on the commander, I simply mean that I wanted the deck to still be able to go wide if Zinnia kept being targeted for removal, but keep it so that if Zinnia was to stay in play, it would help out immensely. The go wide theme will still be the focus, probably more so after this guide is done, but I'm a proponent of always having a backup plan in case the main strategy isn't working for whatever reason. So, I'll also be providing another way of winning. I also want to point out that Wizards is still insisting on using these crappy temples in every precon, even though there are way better options for just as cheap, if not slightly higher or slightly lower as the temples are monetarily. So, because they insist on using these horrible lands, I will provide slight upgrades for them in every guide where the precon had them included. I believe overall I got the assignment right, so let's get this started, and I'll begin by showing you what I would take out first. I would remove Temple of Enlightenment, Temple of Epiphany, Temple of Triumph, Skycloud Expanse, Ferris Lake, Sunscorched Divide, Azorius Signet, Boros Signet, Izzet Signet, Plume Creed Escort, Illusory Ambusher, Inferno Titan, Stolen by the Fae, Pull from Tomorrow, Cut a Deal, and Calamity of Cinders. That's 16 cards in total that I recommend removing. I mean, you know what I'm trying to do, so is any of this really a surprise? Most of the changes will be slight upgrades to what came in the box, especially the lands and mana rocks, so obviously a good portion of the suggested removals will be those types of cards. The other removals that I recommended just weren't that good. They didn't really fit the token go wide theme or the new win con that I'm adding, and that means they just had to go. So you know the game plan, and you know what cards I would remove. Now, let me show you which cards I would add back in that I believe should help improve how this deck plays. I'll start with the lands, and I'm only adding 3 back in, bringing the land count back up to 35. They are Deserted Beach, Storm-Carved Coast, and Sundown Pass. There's nothing fancy here. I just wanted to add lands that were budget-friendly, were capable of entering play untapped, and you didn't need to jump through hoops for them to enter untapped. These are what they call the Innistrad checklands, and they fill that role quite nicely now that they've dropped in price due to a couple of reprints. As for the mana rocks, I'm only adding 2 back in, but the 2 I'm adding are way better than those crappy filter signets. The first mana rock is Thought Vessel. 2 to cast mana rocks are pretty much the gold standard at this point when you're being budget conscious. Sure, this only taps for colorless mana, but so do most of the other non-arcane signet 2-drop rocks. This, however, provides the added benefit of raising your max hand size, which, if everything is going right, you may need thanks to a couple of the additions I'm going to recommend shortly. The other mana rock is Chromatic Lantern. This is the king of mana fixing in Commander as far as mana rocks go. It taps for any color of mana itself, and it also allows your lands to tap for mana of any color on top of whatever else they might do. In my opinion, 3 mana is a small price to pay for all that this can do for you, and trust me, you won't miss the signets when you have this out. Moving on to the creatures, I will recommend 5 in total that I believe will benefit you whether or not Zinnia is in play when you cast them. The first creature I'll recommend is Oltek Matter Weaver. 3 mana for a 2/4 with no abilities would make old school players scream power creep, but this thing has a whopper of an ability on top of that fits this deck's theme well. It's almost like Zinnia's ability, but doesn't cost you anything. It just happens when you cast a creature. No, the token you get most likely won't be as good as the ones Zinnia makes, but imagine the two being out together. Or better yet, imagine Zinnia being out first, casting this and getting a baby token of it, then casting any other creature with a decent ETB. If you paid the 2 for Zinnia, what's that, like 4 creatures at least entering play at the same time, plus whatever the cast creature's ETB was triggering twice. That could potentially end up being a lot of creature tokens. The second creature I'll recommend adding in is called Whirler Rogue. Its ETB creates 2 creature tokens with flying. The lack of flying creatures is usually a weakness in token go wide decks, so I wanted to shore that up a little bit. Oh, and there's also this thing where it can let you make any creature unblockable by tapping 2 artifacts, which could help you get a massively powered Zinnia through for commander damage in a pinch. The third creature I'll recommend is Kaith, Famed Mechanist. Hey, didn't I just open this guy's precon a couple of weeks ago? Stop me if you've heard this before. It has a similar ability to Zinnia and also Oltek. It gives all non-token creatures that you control Fabricate, which means that when they enter, you can give them either a +1/+1 counter or create yet another creature token. Oh, the shenanigans that could be had if you have Zinnia, Oltek, and this out in play when you cast a creature spell. On top of all of that, it also has an ability that you can activate to populate or proliferate. Obviously in this deck, Populate is the more intriguing choice. Since Zinnia allows you to make some creature tokens that you normally wouldn't see, that could end up having some seriously good results for you. And the last 2 creatures that I'll recommend are Moldrifter and Null Drifter. These 2 are essentially the same creature except for the mana cost and power and toughness. The interaction that's pretty cool here is that if you evoke a creature and use Zinnia to copy that creature, the token doesn't get sacrificed immediately because it wasn't cast. So, both of these with Zinnia out essentially read as pay 5 mana, draw 4 cards, and you get a 1/1 creature token with flying out of it, along with a bunch of ETB triggers. There's also another trick with these 2 involving a card that's in the combo that I'll talk about a little later. The one sorcery that I'll recommend adding is Hour of Reckoning. I removed Calamity of Cinders specifically to make room for this card. I mean, this is a heavy token making deck. Hour of Reckoning is about as one-sided of a board wipe as it gets here. Sure, you'll probably lose a couple of your guys, but you should make out better than your opponents do as long as they aren't also playing a token deck. Now let me show you 3 enchantments that I highly recommend adding to this build. 2 of them will give you a secondary way of winning without having to use combat. They are Impact Tremors and War Leader's Call. As you can see, you still win by having a lot of creatures enter play, but now they damage each opponent directly when they enter. No combat needed. One is even a static buff for your dudes, which basically means you get the double bang if combat damage is also a viable path to victory. And the third enchantment that I would add is Assemble the Legion. I wanted a way to repeatedly create creature tokens. Not only does this do that for free on every one of your turns, but you get compounding interest as your return on investment. If this for some reason goes unchecked for a bunch of turns, you're talking 10 tokens on the 5th turn and then more as you go on. Now imagine that with one or even both of the previous 2 enchantments out. That's a lot of free damage to each opponent. Now we come to the fun part of this guide, the combo. It uses the commander, Zinnia, Valley's Voice, paired with Peregrine Drake, and Meticulous Excavation. How this combo works is explained in the link at the top right of your screen and will result in the following: infinite ETBs, infinite LTBs, infinite storm count, infinite creature tokens, and an infinitely powered Zinnia. I liked this combo specifically because Meticulous Excavation puts in a ton of work outside of the combo. More specifically, it returns non-token creatures you control back to your hand so you can cast them again. It also can even save an evoked creature from being sacrificed to its own evoke trigger. Sure, there was an infinite combo that actually came in the box with Combat Celebrant and Helm of the Host, but this one looks way more fun to pull off. And that, my fellow Spellslingers, is my upgrade guide for the Bloomburrow Family Matters Commander precon. While everything I just showed you won't make this precon a top-tier deck, it should help make it a little more fun to play and feel a bit more token go-wide feeling. So I love a good token deck, and this one is no different. It's not the best version of this strategy that I've seen, but it's certainly not the worst, especially with all the upgrades that I just showed you. At the time of filming, all 16 upgrades would cost you roughly $35, and aside from War Leader's Call, which I honestly didn't know was as pricey as it is, the rest are practically bulk cards that could be thrown into other trades. That's not too shabby if you ask me. So, what do you think? I'd love to hear your thoughts on all of the changes that I just went over in the comments. Well, friends, that's all I've got for you this week. Thanks for watching, but if you're looking for more Magic-related content to watch, please browse through my channel as I'm sure you'll find more of my videos that you'd enjoy. Before you go, though, please smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. This will notify you when I release new content, which I do every Friday, sometimes on Saturdays, and now occasionally on Mondays. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I'll see you all very soon.